why it gets to people's heads that they're rock stars, dude, in the city. I get pissed off thinking about Hyderabad as a scene. We do not have a scene. I can tell. I mean, movie music, playing this thing, all that shit is just like. What are you? You're not an artist. You're a imitator.
Right.
At the end of it, like how much ever you can improvise, do it your own way. How much? What are you doing? You're just simplifying the chords to it. You're not even playing the whole thing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Musicians at Hyderabad.
Don't have any preferences.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with what got you into music?
Okay. So it's actually on. Everything's on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What?
What got you into music? What started your...
So I don't know, I just liked heavy music for some reason, and I didn't know what metal was even, to be honest. Like I used to watch wrestling and I used to like the heavy entrance music.
Stone Cold.
Yeah, Stone Cold and all that. Heavy entrance and all that. But I just didn't know what it was. And then I don't know, just somehow, like I think when I was in the 7th or 8th maybe, I was in Dubai, and this friend had a CD, had the CD of music videos or live videos, like a bunch of, one of those CDs burned videos, right? So he gave that to me. He's like, oh, this friend of mine has this and I don't like any of this. Do you want it? I was like, okay, cool. We checked it out. I was like, fuck, this is what I was looking for. Can I
What, like mixtape, somebody...
yeah, kind of like pretty much, yeah. It was like, just had a bunch of bands like Pantera, Slayer, Metallica.
That's like everybody's gateway band to metal.
Yeah, like, no, not necessarily. Actually, a lot of people like get in through Maiden and like the rock leads to metal. For me, it was a little weird. It kind of just like got into metal and then came back a little bit and then really got into Metallica and then kind of grew into it. Then like really getting into Slayer was like the opening of this whole new world of heavier music. Yeah.
That's your favorite band, Slayer.
Slayer's, yeah, definitely my favorite band. Yeah, like they were like, they made the whole difference to me. At that point, like I used to like enjoy metal. I really was into Metallica. And I started learning a bit of guitar with them songs because it was a little easier than the others. But then like Slayer was like the band that actually like really got me into this thing. Like passionately into music.
And what about Slayer got you into it? Was it the heavy riffs? Was it the...
yeah, it was
the lyrics,
everything. Yeah, it was everything actually. I remember the song. It was a song, "South of Heaven." That actually, I mean, I heard Slayer before that. I heard War Ensemble, and that's one of the first few songs that I heard when I got into metal. But I remember I had this phase where I used to only listen to "South of Heaven" over and over and over, and just the intensity with which he delivers the lyrics. Like the vocal delivery, the riffs, just the ominous intro riff and the simple groove. This thing, it wasn't like a fast song as well. It's a very mid-tempo song, but it was just like this groovy, evil melody kind of thing, with like really like powerful vocal delivery with really good lyrics.
Right.
So that really got me into really opened up that whole side of heavier music to me.
Okay, and then how did you choose the bass out of all of that?
Playing music came much later actually. I wasn't playing music back then. I was just listening to really into music. So before that I used to play cricket actually, quite seriously. That was my
I saw the trophy.
Hi. As if what was left. So yeah, I used to play cricket. I was really passionate and serious about it. I actually played for Dubai and for a very short while actually, because I played and then a month later we moved to New Zealand. And I was quite serious about it in New Zealand. I used to play for the school, and the competition level is quite high there. And then from there I used to play for the clubs as well, and I played for this club in Auckland. And I was the captain of the club finally, and then I tore all my shoulder ligaments, which was quite bad. And it kind of happened at the beginning of the season, but I just continued the whole season and just did a lot of damage to my shoulder, so I couldn't really play at all.
What were you, a bowler?
I was a bowler and a batsman, but I couldn't even bat. It was that bad.
Wow.
So the shoulder got really screwed. So then, and I was kind of just fooling around with the guitar at that point. But then at that point, I really started playing a lot more guitar, because I was I can't really play do much with my arms. So that was almost wasn't I didn't have that thought at that point, but that was a rehabilitating exercise for me.
Okay.
At that point. And then I started playing more. I started learning songs a lot of Metallica, a lot of Slayer. Slayer's when I got into the whole tremolo picking and learning fast riffing and all that. And from there, just got into playing.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I was playing guitar at that point. I was playing guitar for a year and a half. And then at one point, I don't know, then I, like, when, like, bass is this instrument that you need a slightly more qualified ear to hear.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I didn't even know what bass sounded like earlier. So there were these few bands, like, where the bass was quite pronounced and you could really follow the bass. And so it was Pantera, Black Sabbath, Tool. Yeah, 3 bands at the top of my head that I can think of that really, like, attracted me to bass. And I always wanted to buy a bass, but I never really got around to it while I was in New Zealand. I was like, fuck, man, another instrument, another amp, like a whole this thing. Like, so I was like, nah, I'll get a cheap one at some point. But then I came to India and I was looking to form a band here, and I was kind of like jamming with people, mostly on the guitar. And at that point, like, most of the people were only into Iron Maiden, Metallica. That's the extent of metal in India, in Hyderabad. Yeah. So I couldn't get along with, and I was playing like little, like Slayer and like that kind of stuff, and then like nobody really knew nobody heard of Pantera. I mean, like, the people that at least I interacted with to form a band.
Right.
Nobody knew Pantera, nobody knew Slayer. No, it was just these 2 bands. And then finally I came along and somehow bumped into, like, I think the Script guys on Orkut.
This was what, about 2006, 2007?
Seven, yeah. So on Orkut, like, there was, I don't know what happened, some conversation. These guys said, like, we need a bassist, but, like, your guitar, come, we already have 3 guitarists, but come anyway. And I went in, like, sitting listening to them jam, and I was like, I knew every single song they covered. It was only covers at that point. There was no original, nothing. They were all covers, and I was like, oh, sorry, yeah. And I was like, shit, I know all these songs. And I like all the bands also. There's like Black Sabbath, there's like Pantera and stuff. So I was like, okay, sweet. Like, then I kind of just played bass on the guitar, and like for the jams initially. Then
Without touching the bass earlier?
I never played bass at that point. So I just used to play the bass part on the guitar, and then very soon after that, like, I think in a couple of weeks, I just sold my cell phone that I got, and I bought the cheapest bass available. There was a Gibson Jaguar, I remember.
Wow.
So I got that.
Gibson Jaguar,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Yeah, apparently. It was red. In 2 weeks it became pink. It just faded. So to make it cool, I like wrote stuff on it, and like I just like pulled off all the stickers.
A
And,
pink bass guitar, bro.
yeah. And you used to play with lights, and also you couldn't make out the color.
Right.
But yeah, so that was my first bass. And then, yeah, that's how I got into playing bass, like a bit mostly. Like I said, I wanted to play bass, and this is now I finally have a bass. And the bass actually is like, I mean, you could somewhat play without an amp because it's just a louder resonating instrument.
Right.
Like, but you can't play an electric. I mean, you can, but like you can't play an electric. I have as much fun playing an electric unplugged compared to a bass unplugged. So that kind of just happened that way. Yeah.
And then you joined Script at that point of time, and then you guys played for what? I think a good 4 years or something.
No, much longer actually. We played for 2007 we formed, right? So I think we played until 2006, 9 years at least, 8-9 years we played.
16.
Yeah, 16 of 15 or 16, yeah. I think 16, no 15, yeah, somewhere around that time. Yeah.
And you guys wrote an album together.
Yeah,
That was your first.
Yeah, it was this thing EP. It was we put that out in 2010.
Wait, what's the thing between the EP and the album? The EP is what, 7 tracks or less, and
No, it's not. It can be less also. It depends on the, like, if you play grindcore, you can have 15 songs and it'll be an EP also. It depends on the duration actually. Technically, an LP qualifies after, like, it's a extended play and long play. So anything over 30 minutes generally is this thing, LP.
Okay.
I mean, that's also like, I mean, it's not like set in stone, like it's got to be that. Like Slayer's album Rain and Blood is 26 minutes and it's a full length album. It's got like 8-10 songs, I think. So there's no like fixed like cut off point, but like EP is generally a shorter. It's not a full length album, like with fewer songs and like just generally a shorter thing, like.
And what was your process writing or creating albums, and how has it evolved from Script to Godless?
So with Script, it was so basically we were all like, it was all of our first band. Like, so we were all like young and like just didn't understand the whole process of any of this, like making music. And there was not much in Hyderabad where we could like kind of learn from somebody, like there were no bands that had put out apart from Sledge, but they were like. They had, a lot more money, I guess, because they played a lot. They were like a lot. They had jobs and they had stuff like that, so they could afford to put out an album and like go to a studio and record properly. And which we didn't know, and we didn't really understand the whole process.
And there were no tutorials on YouTube.
Exactly. YouTube also was not like as like easily accessible as it is now. There was no smartphones back then. So we didn't really think out. So basically, I think I think it was the year we formed itself actually. Akhil was one of the guitarists. He had quit like I think 2-3 months into the band being around. And Joel from the band Wreckage, he joined the band.
This was much later, 2014.
No, he joined in 2007. The first year of band existing itself. Like band was hardly like 4-5 months old when he joined.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So he joined then, and so he brought a whole more mature aspect to the songwriting. So he kind of like he came in, he had the song, and we kind of learned that song. We jammed together, and we used to jam a lot, man. We used to jam every single day, 7 days a week. It was just like a thing you do. You can't turn up at the jam room, you sit there, you jam, you drink, you jam, you drink, and then you smoke, you drink, you jam. So that was like a daily routine kind of thing. So we did that, and he brought in that, you know, a bit more mature perspective of arranging a song, writing a song, because we had written a song before that.
Bit of method to the...
Yeah, just a bit more, like, yeah, it was like not so chaotic and not more, like, it was structured. So, and we were like, oh, man, it's like we have like our own song, which is actually nice now. We had a song before that, but it was very childish. But we thought it was really cool. And
Did you release it?
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we still remember the riffs because it's so easy, but like it was just like this really very basic, childish structure. And even we weren't too proud of it, you know, to be honest. So when this song came in, it like really was like, oh, this is a sick song. Like, yeah, enjoyed it as like fans of a song, even if it wasn't us, you know, that kind of thing. So we did that, and then that added, so that made things like, okay, so we like kind of learned a little bit from there. But soon after that, like Joel had to leave the band. Not soon after, but like a few years into that. So we played a few gigs till then, like we played in a few other cities as well. And then Joel left the band, and then we're like, shit, now what? Like, I mean, you know, like, and his playing ability was a lot beyond what we were at. And now, like, we're like, shit, replacing him is going to be difficult because you can't find a guitarist who has that, who's into metal and has that much experience and that skill.
Right.
So we kind of just gathered, and we're like, nah, we're not going to give up on this so easily. We're going to put, so we had to work extra hard to compensate. So what we did is like all of us, Ramya, Senik and me, like not the drums part of thing, but like we at least sat together and we started writing riffs and arranging a song. Like, so we got together, we used to start this thing, we used to use Guitar Pro and just tab everything out so we don't forget it. And we started and we did that. It was a relatively quick process actually. We wrote 3 songs right after that, just structured things, and we got that down. And so we had like 4 songs good enough for an EP.
Okay.
And at that point I started studying audio engineering as well. I wanted to learn how to record.
You had traveled out for that?
Yeah, I shifted to Mumbai. And so basically I was in Mumbai. My college was 3 days a week. And only for 3-4 hours a day, and the rest of the time I was just on my computer. I bought a recording interface.
Okay.
And I used to just sit with my guitar and guitar. Yeah, I think I had a guitar as well. Guitar, bass, sit over there and just practice and try and learn recording and mixing. So I understood how to record at least. You know, like that's something that we learned. So we had this at least at our disposal. So I had like a portable setup where we can just have the laptop, have a interface, headphones, and we can just go and record at least guitar and bass. And I learned drum programming. So it kind of just programmed the drums for the whole EP. So I sat with Rajiv and we programmed the whole thing. So I came down to Hyderabad, tracked the guitars with Ramya. And Joel also played one song and the solo. And then came back, finished the bass. Then Senik used to live in Jamshedpur. He got transferred to Jamshedpur at that point.
Where is Jamshedpur?
It's in like West Bengal, I think.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So he was there.
So you did all of this remotely?
Yeah, so we like kind of, I had to travel here and there because I had the recording set up, right? And Senik came down to this thing, but I didn't have a good mic, so we went down to a friend's place. He had like a studio kind-ish setup. Home studio basically, but with a good mic. So we went to his place, did track the vocals, and sent it to a friend of mine in New Zealand who actually had knew how to mix a lot better than what we could have done. So sent everything to him, and he took care of that. And yeah, that sent us back the mix, and we're like, shit, this sounds awesome, dude. So got the artwork done, and like at that point, it was kind of just like, had a few friends. I was living in Bombay, and I had a bunch of friends from other bands, and who'd been around for a while, and just consulted with like a bunch of people, like called people like, what do we do? Like, we have this CD's ready, everything's ready. And so we just did like an album launch gig, and at that point, there were a bunch of these websites in India also, like Rolling Stone, RSJ, and a lot of other things actually. And there were a lot of these distribution setups. Like they used to trade CDs with like people from different countries, like labels from different countries. So we tied up with them. We stocked our CDs all across the country. Like, okay, if you're from Bangalore, you want to buy the CD, this is where you go. We put up this, made creatives.
At music stores and stuff?
Not music stores, but they were like there were some stores that sold merch. There was one store who agreed to actually sell metal, distribute, you know.
Okay.
Like, or one guy, someone's house, someone's this thing, you know. Like, we had like one spot in each city where you could access some music. So I have the phone number of that guy. So you get in touch with that guy, you guys figure it out. So we sent CDs all across the country, and that actually was good. Actually, I mean, it was like a good learning experience, you know. Like, we're doing it from scratch, like doing like complete DIY effort, like all of it, like from the recording to distributing and releasing. We did 2 album launch gigs here, one in Mumbai. So the word spread, and it was good. It was a good way to start.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then after 2017, is that when Godless started?
2015 is when we formed the band.
Okay. That's while Script was on.
Yeah. But nobody knew about the band. We spent the first 6-8 months just practicing and like working on writing music. We wrote songs, scrap songs, until we found a sound that was Godless.
Wow, that's a process, man.
Yeah, but we didn't want to just like so the thing is, at that point, like Script was kind of like first going nowhere, you know, like, and I didn't want to waste my time, and I had like a job that was taking up a lot of time. I mean, still had the same job. Yeah. So it was new, the business was new, so I couldn't afford to waste my time with something. I wanted to be in a band with serious people who are like who really want to take the band somewhere, you know, not fucking around in this thing. So can I abuse? Cool. So kind of got in touch with people and all that. So we had like, there were 4 of us. So like we had the 4 except for the vocalist. So we thought we'd work on the music at least. You know, the vocalist will not really musically contribute yet until we have like a direction. So we did that. We kept jamming. Suddenly we had this one riff. It sounded like fuck, this sounds sick. And then from there the song just flowed in. And we had like a whole song, and we were like, this is the sound. This is now when we're ready for the band, kind of. So, and soon after I had wrote 2-3 a couple more songs, 2-3 more songs, and then we recorded the first song with a guest vocalist because we didn't know so we wanted like someone like we know who's good, who can lay vocals over that, and then we have a song to present. And the band wasn't announced even. We announced the band with the single. And then that is a good a starting point for somebody who understands whether they want to be a part of the band or not, and understand the sound of the band. So basically couldn't be a college student, because college students, once they finish college, they have that pressure from home, go get a job, they might either get transferred to a different city or priority shift and all that. So you want someone who's like, you got to be stable in your career, whatever that is.
Right.
Because the band's not going to be a career for sure, with metal especially, in the kind of metal that we're playing.
Right.
But your career should be able to accommodate the band. So that was the plan from the beginning. And so we got people on board, and then the vocalist was the heart. We jammed with a few people. A couple of them had like really good voices, but just couldn't, this complete commitment thing of it became like a difficult thing. So that didn't work out. So we're like, okay, fine. Next option is Pune or Bangalore, because those are the 2 closest cities to Hyderabad.
To search for vocalists?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, to search for vocalists. So got in touch with a few friends, a couple of friends from Bangalore who were a part of the scene and actively into the scene, saw like new bands and upcoming bands or whatever this thing. And spoke with 2-3 people, and they suggested Kaushal, and his band member suggested him. In fact, I was like, dude, he's already in 2 bands. Like, why this thing? He's like, no, but he's like really this thing committed, and if he digs it, he'll really put in the
Ace time management, huh?
Yeah, full on.
2-3 bands.
Yeah. He's good at that, and he's serious about music. So like, okay, fine. Got in touch with him, like called him, had like a full chat, told him like all the goals of the band, what this thing is. He's like, yeah, I heard the song, dude, I liked it and all that. Like, oh sweet, like this thing. And then came down, jammed, and we had a couple other songs, like just demos recorded. So sent that to him, like worked on vocals, came down, did the first song, nailed it, like killed it. The song that we had actually recorded.
Achha.
Then came and second song he did it his own way. I was like, fuck, this sounds monstrous, it sounds killer, dude. We like all looked at each other. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to retain the essence of the first song, the way the vocalist. And I was like, no, dude, he's the guest vocalist. You're the vocalist. Do it your way. And then he sang it his way, with his vocal texture. Like, we're like, wow, this sounds fucking awesome. And then like he was in, like we all got along, like basically just had the same mindset with the band, right? So we got along and did a gig like a first gig a month later.
Sweet. Wait, that was Hyderabad? No?
Yeah, Hyderabad. We did played at Hard Rock, because Hard Rock was calling us for the 3 or 4 months before that every month. Like, we have a gig, can you play? Like, we don't have a lineup, man. So like, I'll be letting you know as soon as. So finally he said, okay, yeah, we have a lineup, we can, and spoke with Kaushal, and at the same time Hard Rock called actually. So we're like, okay, we have a target, so we can work towards this.
And from there, like that first gig to like whack in, it happened really quick, right?
We went in 2018 actually. So it was, the first gig was actually October 2015.
Huh.
So we released our EP first. So from there, like our EP release was our third gig probably. So we played another gig at Hard Rock. We did we did a couple of competitions. So and our this thing was this, like, even though we've been in the scene for 10 years or whatever, this thing 8 years, 10 years, whatever. We're gonna start as a band from scratch, no egos, none of that bullshit, because that's what fucks up a band. Like egos are the first thing that fucked up, and that's what happened with previous experiences. So like, no, we're gonna play competition. We're gonna start from scratch. Like, you're not too big to play anything.
Right.
You're just gonna play as much as possible. Play anything. Play any gig that comes your way.
Grind from like point A.
And so that was the thing also. Like, we have to have this kind of sound. You have to be this professional. You have to do this. We have this goal. You want to go there. You want to release this much music. You have to start recording all this, like, top quality. Everything has to be paid attention to, from the imagery, artwork to obviously music's first priority. But everything, the production has to be just right, the way we want it, not overly polished, not overly raw, just that sweet spot where the way we want it and all that. So all that was thought out before we even put out anything. So we knew exactly what we wanted to do before we went out and put out a first song itself. We knew like the quality of everything has to be top notch. We're not compromising. The band's ethics since the beginning has been like no compromise on anything.
Right.
So that's what we've been all about from the beginning. So that
Yeah,
was
like, and I'm talking just about like only from the standpoint of merchandise. Even
Right.
if you look at it, like everything is like great. It's like
Yeah.
top notch.
Yeah, we try to that's what we do, like quality control also. Like I was just talking to Kaushal yesterday because we just printed a whole batch of merch which just got shipped out like this morning. Like like a pile up or this big size of this table. So and then we got something like we weren't happy with a couple of things. We spoke with the vendor who provided it to us, and we told him we can't sell this. So like we have to fix this. So like every little aspect of that we pay attention to. Like, if a t-shirt, this thing, there's a stain here, the hoodie, the string is not up to the mark, so he'll change that. You have to make sure like everything that goes out from our camp is top notch, because you have to make sure the quality is like that. And that is just the smaller part. Then the main thing is the artwork, the designing,
Right.
way we put it out, way we present it, all that has to be like all this was thought out before we even announced the band,
Wow.
So that, like, we put in a lot of thought into this.
Covered all the bases.
Yeah, basically we look up to the bands that we are influenced by and see who's doing what, how, and even in the bigger bands there'll be bands that take things a little casually, but like, we know like what our path is and we know what we want to do. And yeah, and work hard. You have to put in the extra effort for that, because it's not like we have somebody else who'll go and do all that for us. So apart from playing, apart from writing, apart from touring, you have to do all this yourself as well. Do your research, find a good vendor who's on international standard in India. We don't want to be like the best band in India or something, or Hyderabad, there's nothing arrogant about what I'm trying to say, but our goal is set to be like on par with the bands that we look up to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that is what it's been since the beginning. So yeah.
Nice. And so it's not competitive or whatever. It just has to be the best because you're putting your time in.
Yeah, it's not at all competitive actually. It's about just meeting our standards. So like if we had to buy something or if we had to listen to something, this is what we like. This is the kind of production we like. This is the kind of songs we like. You have to be a fan of your own songs. That's what the bar that is set for us. And with every song that we've released till now, like, it's been a perfect thing of 5 people. Like, one guy will not like one thing, will change that. It's always been like do it'll work, and I'll just make it work one song. It's not like that. That never happens.
Okay, no creative writing clashes and stuff.
No, it has to be like, luckily everyone likes what we, because the thing is, like, we've all got a bar like that set for ourselves, with Godless's music. And like, if we think that, like, say for example, if I write a riff and I put it out, like, the guys also like, they're like, okay, I know it has to be this good to show it to the guys also. Otherwise, like, there's so many times I write shit and they're like, this is nonsense, just scrap it. Or record it and leave it somewhere. Like, I'll come back to it later and see how I can tweak it maybe. Same thing with the other guys also. Like, Ravi will come with the riff. He knows that, okay, like, sometimes he's like, this song, I don't think this is that good. But like, but when he comes with a song, really, he knows, like, and he knows that we listen to it and like, shit, this sounds killer, dude. So, we have like that. We understand, like, and since the thing is, we've started the band together, right, all of us, so we know, like, we've got that balance between us, like, so we understand each other's tastes and this thing. So.
And you made it very clear what the direction is, what the goal is and stuff.
Yeah, we had this thing, but yeah, obviously you learn as you go as well. It's not set in stone that this is the only style of music that we play. This is the only influence that we can bring in. Like, so everyone brings in a different influence still, despite having a direction. I think it's like we all have like with metal is a very huge genre of music. There's so many subgenres.
Yeah.
And all of us have like our primary taste is quite different actually. So we bring that together to make something. So you're not like reinventing the wheel or anything. It's not like creating something that has never been heard before.
Right.
But it's just the influence of our bringing our own influences to put it together and create something that is true to us, basically.
And it's paid off because you guys have actually got to travel out of the country and represent India at Wacken and tour Europe and stuff like that. How did that work out for you?
How did it fall into place?
How did it fall into place,
Okay,
and how
gotcha.
was it?
Okay. So the first international experience was going to Wacken. So it was this competition that we played. They have this thing called Wacken Metal Battle.
Right.
So that happens all across the world and all that. And we, when they competed in that, and happened to win that. A month before that actually.
Yeah, no big
concert.
deal. Yeah, it just didn't happen.
No, so we, and they're like, fucking off. Obviously, like it wouldn't sink in, obviously, until this thing. But then even there, we had as soon as that happened, we started practicing our asses. So we used to do that anyway, but then it became like from 4 days a week to 7 days a week kind of thing. It was like, have to nail it over there, go do just kill it on that stage and this thing, and just go meet people, just experience the festival also, So that's what the competition basically was what got us there. So we won that, and that's how we went there. We played another club show there, a few days after Wacken. And so we did that, and the organizer of that club show is also the organizer of this other festival in Germany.
Okay.
So, and he saw us there, and he really liked it. He luckily really dug the music and all that. He's like, hey dude, you should come back and play the festival next year. We're like, okay, cool, and we'll stay in touch. And later, after a few months after coming back and all that, or I think after coming back, and so actually around the time of Wacken, before going to Wacken, we had already finished recording the next EP, and it had already gone for mixing, mastering, artwork was done, everything was ready. Basically, we had the new CD in our hands before we even went to Wacken. So
and you prepared to distribute it?
Yeah, we took demos, just printed a few, very old school way of just not even in a cardboard box, but with the artwork neatly done and all that. Just handed them out to people, whoever wanted to. This is before the release even.
That's it.
So, and before the album, we even announced the artwork, put out the name of anything, we just handed it out to people. Because we had all that ready from our side, but just slip it around here and there. And we played that club show, and then got back in touch with the promoter. He's like, hey man, you guys still on for next year? I was like, yeah, cool. You guys, and then he's like, do you want to do a whole tour along this thing of Europe? I was like, yeah, why not? So, and he plays for a band, it's a killer death metal band based in Germany called Divide.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, we'll tour together, your band and my band. Like, okay,
Nice.
awesome. Just let us know when to when, what dates we should keep us free, and he gave us a schedule and all that, and all just worked out. When they had a killer time, and it was a great experience basically to see the real way of touring. Not in India, everyone's the first gig itself, you're like, oh, this is my tech rider, this is this thing. I want flights from here to here and all that. This is every Indian band should go. Yeah, you have to, and it's actually fun. Every Indian band should do that to be pulled back down to earth a little bit. Because you go there and so the usual format is you rent out a van.
Right.
And your van drives you from one city. So you map out your tour, because the gig doesn't give a shit about where you're coming from, where you're going next. There's
As long as you're at the venue.
Yeah, this is your time, this is this thing. You come here and you do your show. Whatever your pay is, whatever deal is worked out with each city. That's the thing. So you map out a tour where so this city to the city is only 3 to 4 hours. So you kind of map it out, so you drive from one city to do the whole route. Okay, so it's I'm doing a 1 month tour or 21 day tour, this is what we did. So let's try and fill in and each day you don't play a gig, it's just money lost.
Right.
You have to pay for stay, food, drinks.
Yeah.
Which becomes expensive. So you try and map out a tour, and you drive from one city to the other, and keep your travel as minimal as possible.
Okay.
So we and luckily the guy who called us, Moritz, he planned out everything. He took care of the whole thing for it. So we didn't really have to, because it was also our first real tour. Going and playing one festival and club shows, it's not a tour, it's just the gig.
Insane.
So he took care of everything, he mapped it all out. So what you do is then you book out a van, you book out backline, so you carry your own drum kit, your amps, everything.
Monitors and stuff?
No, not monitors. Monitors, just the backline.
Got it.
So whatever you want to use. Because if you line up at the venue, you unload the backline, you set up on stage, the sound guy gets to work and starts setting up the stage and all the whatever miking, this thing, doing all that. While that goes on, we set up our merch counters, the merch tables and all that. So we make sure it's displayed properly, this thing. So do that, and then as soon as that is done, soundcheck starts. Finish your soundcheck, then you have a little bit of time. This is what I try to make sure at every gig. I try and go for a walk at least for an hour to try and just see the city, because you don't have any other time to see the city. So go explore the city, and in that 1 hour after soundcheck, and then come back. The gates open, people start coming in, and yeah, just hang out at the gig place.
Sounds fun, man.
Yeah. It's tiring, really tiring.
Yeah, I can imagine. So there's so much that goes into. Let's even forget recording an album. Let's forget writing an album, but stuff like the artwork to promotion to touring to backline. Is this the reason you started Replicant?
Yeah. So basically, our first EP was luckily released through a label.
Okay.
Who took care of everything, like printing the CDs, printing the merch, distribution worldwide, on getting music on all platforms, like publishing, everything was taken care of by them. So we just literally had to record, mix, master, like get the artwork done, and just hand him the content, and he got everything done.
Mm-hmm.
So with the second one, we did everything independent.
Okay.
So this is where we actually really got to see how things work, and and it was actually fun. It did much. I wouldn't say much, but it did much better actually. Nothing against nothing against the label or something, but I think the band was unheard of when the label released us. And but by the time that happened, we already were around and music was spread here there. So and we already had the listeners from the first this thing. So when we did it independently, we also tied up with a PR agency who did had a PR campaign structured and all that for us.
You're talking about online marketing or?
Yeah, online and even the print media and all that, whatever, with magazines, interviews, all that. So they took care of all of that. And
wait, is that here in India? Or
no, this one is based in Canada, but they have legs across Europe, and one person in Turkey, one person I don't even know where they're from. So they did. We had a 3 or 6 month campaign with them. Mm-hmm. They took care of whatever we need. They're the professionals. We left it up to them. You tell us what to do. Mm-hmm. So and we kind of got to learn from that as well. And then again, so we did all this, and we tried to up the quality on this second record. Mm-hmm. Better production, good quality recording, better artwork, and all of that. We try to raise the bar each time we put out something new. You have to raise the bar. Right. At least that's this thing. So got to learn all of that from that release, and then I saw that a lot of bands in India don't even know what PR is really. Mm-hmm. When it comes to music PR, I'm not the commercial PR is a completely different thing. Right. So music PR is a very different ball game. So that's something that just built a little bit of a network over a period of time. Mm-hmm. And I had this idea of wanting to start it for quite a while, and then this friend of mine from Bangalore, a common friend, actually said that this other friend of ours that wants to start, was thinking of starting this. Mm-hmm. So this whole thing had just happened over a phone call in one day. I was planning on starting it, but just getting around to starting and doing all that took some time. Mm-hmm. So but having one other partner on board just made things easier for both of us. So yeah, that's how we got the PR thing going.
And have you started signing bands yet?
Yeah, we've got 3 already.
Okay. And what's the criteria for? It's obviously a metal.
It's metal. Thing is, there's no criteria as such. It's the thing is between Anup and me, we know what our reach is. Mm-hmm. We know what kind of bands we can really push, and things it's you can't push something that you don't like. They can't promote. And the thing is, we don't want to take up too much work just for the sake of money. It's more about being picky and choosing something that we believe in, and then push it. It's not necessarily that everything that we like is good. There's so many other good bands that actually got in touch that they were good, but probably some artists, some not our taste, but something that we felt that we don't have, that's not, again, like I said, metal has a lot of subgenres. Right. And within our comfort zone, of the ability to promote it well enough. Mm-mm-mm. So there's no defined criteria as such. Mm-hmm. There's a few points that we have that we send, if a band's getting in touch, we send them, we have all our PDFs in place with our packages and all.
And does Replicant do everything from recording?
No, only PR, nothing else. Only we don't want to get into anything else at all, because that's we can do
not distribution.
No, not at all. We consult. We can consult and tell suggest what a good way to go about it is, but that's not even a part of the PR. That's more like an add-on feature kind of thing. So, but as this thing, we are exclusively a metal PR, heavy music PR agency.
Would you be one of the first metal PR agencies in
India? No, there've been a couple.
Definitely Hyderabad though.
Hyderabad, yeah, but this is again, it's half Hyderabad, half Bangalore.
Okay.
But then with PR, geography doesn't matter really, dude. I said, the agency we signed with, I'm not even sure, to be honest, where they're from.
And now that everything's digital, it's just...
Yeah, that's what it is. You never see people's faces, ever. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't even matter. The thing is, the PR's work is also done in a way where, it's a very complicated thing because you don't promote yourself, you're promoting an artist, so nobody even knows that you exist.
Right.
So it's just like a very weird space to be in. Like, you don't want people to know that you did the work, but you also want people to know that you did the work because the work has to be the band's this thing, the
Right.
band's material that has got them there. But you also try and push it. So it's a very weird thing to define,
Right.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of which, how responsive do you think the Indian market has been to metal so far, and where do you see it going?
Okay, so the early 2000s, the early to mid or to late 2000s, metal was something that was new. It was like a novelty kind of thing,
In the 2000s?
Yeah, in India.
Okay, to the
To the masses, basically.
got it. Yeah.
Like the audience that comes to the gigs, like they don't
Right.
really know metal, but it's like, oh, loud, it's screaming, this thing. I think it's exciting. Like even like promoters and like sponsors were like, okay, let's try something new, like let's put money in metal and all that.
Right.
So that's how it was, and it worked and it did like reasonably well, but it was all covers basically. And slowly what happened, the shift towards the late 2000s is when the shift towards writing music came into the picture.
Right. You're talking pan-India, you're not just...
Pan-India, yeah. Pan-India. Like, Hyderabad has always been a little slower behind everyone. But...
so this was, you're talking about Bangalore and stuff like that?
all over, basically.
Okay.
Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi also had a good scene. Northeast has always had a good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, the scene is... I mean, that novelty wore off eventually. Because, and the thing is, like, people... And what happens in India is people, by the time they... like get older and focus, like I said, like out of college into their jobs, they stick around for a little while and then they don't have the, like once you have a full-time job, like this, like a hectic job or something, yeah, they kind of just like fade away from it, like, oh, it was like it was a phase, I can't keep up with it kind of. And because metal is still, even now, even though it's probably one of the biggest genres in the world, as in like in crowd attendance, say for example.
A very loyal fan base.
Yeah, exactly. So the it's still a very underground genre as well. So you really have to discover your music. It's not like half the bands you listen to, you would never have, people who don't know metal would never have heard of even. It's still a very underground thing, but it's big. So it's a very weird thing again. Like, it's probably the biggest turnouts, but like also unheard of. So it's the thing is like that people, I think when they get older, they don't have the patience to live up, like go and discover new music and stuff like that. So I think that you don't see a lot of older crowd in metal now. Lately, we've been starting to see that over the last 3 to 5 years maybe.
Okay.
People are still keeping up with it and stuff like that. So like, yeah, now it's
and by older you mean like the mid-30s to
40s, also 50s, also not too much.
The hardcore Sabbath fans who've carried.
Yeah, so 30s, 40s are still around. So that's starting to become a scene. Earlier it used to be like right up to 30, and after that you disappear. People disappear, and like even like the people that when the scene, like when I got in, they suddenly disappeared, and slowly seeing them coming back also to it. So I think they got stable in their jobs now. They're like, let's go back to what we really like. But I don't know, like it's starting to become more stable. Like the fan base is starting to become more loyal here as well.
Right.
So that it across the world it was loyal always, but here it was not really loyal, like a local band, international band, or we like international, we don't support local. Now like that whole thing, that support for the local acts, like, and the bands have also been starting to get better, like investing in themselves, investing in the music, like in the time, like putting out good quality music. So that's also started happening over the last few years. So once that happens, once you're on par with the rest of the world, like there's no reason for people to also like, they're like, oh, this band is as good as any other band. So like support has started becoming like more common here. Like the age group also is getting a little wider, and the loyalty towards local music also is local in Indian.
So it's easy to say, or it's fair to say that the future is looking good for metal.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean definitely better than the early 2000s.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you get to see a lot of. See, the thing is, at the end of it, you still need to go abroad to and play, like, because that's where like a lot of metal listeners are. Like here, I mean, yeah, compared to the population, you get like a decent amount of people. But the thing is, they like I'd rather play to 70 hardcore like fans than like or listeners than 200 people who are just like let's go out for a night out, like bang our heads and drink some beer kind of thing, like without paying attention to it. I don't go sit in the smoking room kind of thing, So But it's getting better here for sure.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it because like bands are serious about it. The quality is improving, and they're going abroad to play a show. That touring has started like properly international touring and all. So it's good. It's definitely improving.
Have you noticed the number of bands that are coming out with metal music has gone down?
Yeah, it has actually. But I don't know. Like I said, it's always. I've seen this since the time I came into the scene. It's always been in phases, man. It's just like you have a sudden burst of gigs happen, and that has to do with the frequency of gigs, I guess, also. Because the number of gigs have actually reduced quite a bit lately.
But I mean, we didn't have the same amount of gigs back in the early 2000s as well. But we had a bigger college scene.
Yeah, exactly. So we had gigs. There were gigs like we used to have that gig, like 1-2 gigs a month minimum. You know those Yamaha Rocks gigs and all that, and like free entry.
Yeah.
So those used to happen all the time. So that like 1-2 gigs a month is like quite good actually, even now if it happens in the city. And there were college fests, and college fests actually do play a big part in the thing because people getting attracted to not just metal but any like form of live music,
right,
like rock and all that. Because that's where when you're in college, you're young and you see that and you inspired by that.
Right.
And if you see good quality bands competing and all that, you actually get inspired by that. You know, you want to pick up a guitar at least, and then you explore music and. Then you see you want to get to a band eventually and all what kind of music you want to play. That comes into, and the college fests have all just opted for the easy option, which is pen drives.
How's the music scene looking going forward?
Yeah, we finished that, I think.
Yeah. So
I always hate that just answering that.
Yeah, that's such a like another one is okay. What's the music scene like in Hyderabad? I mean, how
How's
it anything?
That, answer to that is always that it's shit.
Yeah.
You talk about music scene,
And
talk about
there's really nothing that makes it better, is there?
educated crowd, dude. Fucking crowd asking for better this thing. The thing is, at the end, if you're catering to the crowd, that's. Is this actually recording right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this actually a question or are we just discussing among ourselves?
Yeah. Just general
I think
stuff.
as I was talking to a friend of mine who works in marketing. And like, dude, like, and the thing is, like, we come up with good ideas, and the boss at the end of it will be like, the audience won't understand. It's like, fucking, you change the fucking standard. Why do you cater to them? Like, if you raise the bar, someone else will try and match that. Someone will try to raise the bar, and that's how you improve. If you want to be like, how do you think things work abroad also? Like, if you don't understand something, it actually creates curiosity. And people want to know about that. It's like, what are they trying to say? Then when you understand, like, oh fuck, that's actually a smart ad. That's how it works.
Right.
Same thing with music also. Like, if you're just catering to the audience who's stupid, who don't know shit. Like, if something gets stuck in their head, a song gets stuck in their head, it's catchy. What if you write a song and they listen to something interesting? Or even if you're playing a cover, for example, because covers are the most mass. Cover gigs are the most mass gigs where people are just sitting, like,
Right.
at any of the bars, like Hard Cup or whatever, like, for example. You're just playing to an audience and you want to just play what they want to hear. And you play like the venue should also support from time to time, like, to slip in what you want to play.
Right.
And eventually, I mean, I'm like very anti the whole cover scene because I think it's just, I mean, even though that's my livelihood, I live off of that. But it's just like people should start making music, dude. How long will you just go to a bar, play the same shit over and over and over and be happy? Are you really happy? It's like, I want to ask this question, but like, I'm sure deep inside there'll be this thing, dude. Like, I know I can't do it. Some people are happy doing that also. Some people are very clear about it, like Loki said in his interview, and he's happy,
Right.
and that's different completely.
Right.
But the thing is, people are like, oh, I want to make the shift at some point. I want to make the shift. It won't happen if you're playing gigs 7 days a week or 8 gigs a week. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, the thing is that, I don't know, like, you need to take time off to make your music and like raise the bar of what happens in our city. Now, nobody is doing that. So that's where I feel like our city is lacking. Our city does not have a scene. There is no scene. How many bands are writing original music? Like, I really don't know this. Like, and the thing is, like, the bands get disheartened. I saw like a couple of bands like Arpit started doing that a little bit, and so I went and played a few shows. And then I think Ragamuffins were doing a good job, and they did a tour as well. Like, I was actually happy to see that. But then just eventually get disheartened because everybody gets busy with their own life. Like, stick with it, do it, and like, if this scene is not there, then go abroad, go to other different cities, play, see what is happening, then make a difference here. Do your own gigs.
Right, but what is the end goal? Now, there's this saying, right? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Right. So, I mean, bands are putting in so much, and if there's like literally nothing at the end of it to look forward to, is it just hope that someday something might click?
No, you set the goals for yourself, right? Like, don't
Right.
think of others. Like, I mean, like, yeah, you want to try. I mean, like, see, I've also always wanted to do something for Hyderabad, and I'm very passionate about my city. I go to a city, I was like, fucking Hyderabad represent, man. That's like my thing. Like doing metal gigs in Hyderabad, I want Hyderabad to be on the map. Like when you think of Indian metal gigs, I want Hyderabad to be on the map. Like at least in the top 5 places. To go if you're touring India, it will be one of the top 5 cities that you have to visit and play a gig at. Stuff like that's the thing. But yeah, like the band's just set. But the thing is that is separate and set a goal for yourself. Like what do you want to do with the music? Where do you want to see yourself?
To what extent can you push it?
And like don't be unrealistic about it. Like be like I want to go play Download Festival. Yeah, you can do it. Like it's like not unachievable. Like there has been a band from India, Parikrama went of all people, like a cover band who plays like a few originals. And nothing against them, but they got there. Like. And you can raise the bar.
Is it just a matter of a change in attitude?
Yeah, it is. I mean, like an attitude, not outside, but like your own attitude. People like just are like get disheartened by everything, dude. Like just like work on it, work hard on it, and then like like get there. Like work on the music, work on every aspect of it. See what the bands you look up to are doing, and try and at least emulate that.
Because I've noticed local musicians at least are extremely pessimistic looking at this thing.
What I've noticed a lot is they want to be the best band in Hyderabad, and that's it. That's the end goal. That's the end goal. And your end goal is when if you shoot for the stars, you land somewhere here at least. This is if you shoot for the fucking Stones Hills, Jubilee Hills, Banjara, you land in Abbott Street. It's like their goals are so freaking. I mean, like if you're. And things that and people and I don't know why it gets to people's heads that they're rock stars, dude, in the city. Nobody is a fucking like you're playing to fucking 12, 14, 200 people that like your music here. That's nothing. And it's not your music. Fucking Johnny Cash should be happy over there or something. Like fucking the Beatles should be happy.
Right.
They're playing their music.
Yeah.
Play your own music and then be proud of yourself. This is a little bitchy sounding, but like I mean, and in this, in no way is something like I'm talking about myself. This is like I get pissed off thinking about Hyderabad as a scene. We do not have a scene. Movie music, playing this thing, all that shit is just like fucking like play Telugu music, play Hindi music, make your own music. Then it's something, something
that adds to the evolution of the scene.
Like the scene. I mean, not just that, but just be. You're not an artist. You're a imitator.
Right.
At the end of it, like how much ever you can improvise, do it your own way. What are you doing? You're just simplifying the chords to it. You're not even playing the whole thing. Take an acoustic. How are you doing? You're at the end playing lesser than what the actual artist has even played.
Right.
Bring it down to 4 chords.
Yeah.
So like make something. Be an artist. Like even if you're a mediocre artist, like you will get better when you start putting the effort towards that. You might be a great cover artist, but you might not. You might suck as a like composer because you're not putting the time into that. All your time is going into learning someone else's songs. Where are you using that?
Where are you working your own muscle?
Yeah, exactly. Like he put in all the hard work, I'll try and live off that.
So in that sense, are you pro IP rights, paying royalties towards the artists who wrote the music when people do cover shows over here?
I don't give a shit, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking covers, like those rights and all. Who gives a shit? To be honest, honestly, I don't give a shit. Like that. See, because the thing is, it's not something that can be enforced truly, like properly. Yeah. It's all just a scam of giving them money. There'll be like 10 people on the way before the artist gets again like the same Spotify amount.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all shit. It's all bullshit. It's just a money-making scheme someone came up with in between, and like basically a middleman. They have these guys in Hyderabad, they call the setting guys. They'll like, land for sale, they'll come like, oh, how much, I'll try and make some commission on that, I'll try and make some commission. They're like, all this chain of people, finally someone might buy it, he's the bakra, and this guy is like, gets his thing sold.
Right.
He gets peanuts, like, at the end, this is what happens with this thing. The artist at the end of it, so I don't give a shit.
But now, guys like, okay, this is a little side note. Guy like Spotify and all are the middleman, and they're taking music streaming globally. Artists are not making any money out of it.
No.
How does an artist make money in today's this thing? Touring. That's where the money is.
Yeah, touring, merchandise sales. I mean, what you do on tour is sell much, basically. But like, if your band is big enough, you have fans enough, like your merch just keep selling all the time, like. But then again, I can't say from the. I don't know the big bands perspective, but it's still pretty much the same, dude. I think even the pop musicians, they'll have like 100 million plays on Spotify or whatever, YouTube and all that, but at the end of it, you get like how much? Not even 1 million for it. And so like, but then they'll go and charge $1 million per show.
Right.
After whatever trickles down to them, still it's a significant amount.
Right.
So that is where the money is, like from the performance, from your merch selling at the performance, building yourself, the band as a brand, I guess. As businessy and horrible as it sounds.
A product.
Yeah,
Building a stable product.
I can never think of it that way. Like it's just like shit. But like the thing is, like when you have to manage a band and play in a band, it's just like
You have to look at it very objectively.
Yeah, like sometimes like shit. I wish someone else managed the band.
Okay, so we got a couple of questions from these guys. Huh?
Okay.
This
Who
one's
guys?
from Timothy Jonathan. I think he's a musician.
I think I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How to deal with people? Oh, this keeps coming up a lot. How to deal with people who don't think of even paying for a musician's work in a nice way?
In nice way. Okay, now this depends on what, like, who actually approaches people to ask them for free, in like what scenario? I don't even know, dude. Like live gigs, you like just say like no thank you, or like I'll.
Do you think musicians? No, that won't work either. Setting a standard fee, that won't work.
Like a union kind of thing.
Yeah.
I know, dude.
No.
No, that shit doesn't work. Because it's like there's a thing like again, okay, you want to set a union and all, but like there's a shit musician and fucking Eddie Van Halen or something, they should get paid the same.
Yeah, exactly, man. And everybody's got this thing about now, oh, don't give your art away for free. First, let's define what we consider art.
No, that's fine. Okay, don't give your time away for free.
Don't
at the
give your
end.
time away for free. And art away for free. But then how would people who are trying to break into it, what will they do?
See, I mean, into the like say let's talk about gigging, for example. So if you want to like get into gigging, you want to break into gigging. See, for a start, you have to be at least this good. You know, like you need to make sure that you're self-confident, that you're able to put on a good like standard requirement in our city now is a 3-hour show, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like 3 hours, you have like your 45-50 covers, which is what they ask for. Okay, you have that, and you're doing a good job with that. And then basically you like quote what you feel your time is worth. In the end. And then you kind of you see the market, you understand, okay, this like the thing is at the end of it, if it's even lesser than that, whatever you like, as long as you're okay with playing for that amount. Say like someone says, I'm going to pay you $5,000 for the 3 hours because I haven't heard of you. And usually they do auditions also, do.
Right.
And that I think is okay. Like if you're okay with auditioning and all, which is not, and especially as a new musician, yeah, totally fine. I think that's cool. That's the advertising you do for yourself, basically. So the venue hears you, then your performance has to like speak for it, you know.
So like bottom line is, if they're not paying, you just don't play.
Yeah, why would you play?
No, not every venue, you know.
But I don't think any venue doesn't pay. Everyone pays, right?
Yeah, everybody.
So I don't know. Maybe like I don't know which space people ask for free work, because I think back in the day it used to happen. Maybe like play for exposure and all.
Yeah.
But I think that era at least is gone.
Yeah, nobody needs exposure now on Facebook.
Now, now there's just getting work done for cheap, and it's just a matter of saying yes or no.
What's your time worth to you?
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Okay, so the next question is from Kora Manchili, Akhil.
He was here the day before.
Yeah. What's the dream? That's the question.
Who's?
I'm guessing yours.
To be honest, like even the way place the band is right now, like when if I was starting off playing music, I would have been really happy with this, to be honest. So I'm happy with where the band is. I'm happy with the kind of music that we've reached like we're able to compose as a band. But then I'm not content completely, because there's a lot more. Like I said, like when we started the band, we had this thing. There's no end goal to that. It evolves as we go on. But the standard of what we want to try and do is like this thing, to push ourselves to the limit each time.
Right.
So yeah, ideally would like to be able to be on like unrealistic, because more like there's other thing, like be able to live off playing metal, do this as a full-time job, and have like a half decent life. I don't want like a mansion and this thing. I like fucking just pay rent in this small house and like live and just be able to do whatever I want to do. Like be able to buy lots of guitars, pay for my booze and food, like eat good food. So yeah, just be able to like have a half decent life, and like if I can do that with touring and playing metal full time, I'd love to. But I'm gonna be realistic about it, and I have a job that every time I think of a job or whatever, it's not conscious but subconsciously, it just the only thing that I think I can do half decently is be somewhere close to the music scene. Like I'm not saying play music, but like be close to the music scene. Like do sound, or like that's how I started the sound company, do the PR thing, whatever. Anything I think of is just always just somehow revolves around music. Even slightly being professional and being able to type a half decent email came from sending a mail to an organizer.
Right.
So that's everything I've learned about my life basically has just come from music. So I owe a lot to being in a band, whatever band it is. Because I've learned everything from this, and this is all I know.
Right.
So I'm happy with this. But the goal is, to be able to tour, to be able to play some good festivals, to be able to someday tour with bands. I've had the really lucky opportunity to tour with one of my favorite bands in India. But I'd like to be able to tour with more bands and play more festivals and just do that more often.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's the dream.
This one is from Arpit.
Okay.
Has age ever been a factor in creating or playing music? Is it important to be relevant to the ongoing scene or trend?
No to both, I think.
No, right?
Yeah, I think age doesn't. Yeah, I mean, age actually gives you more knowledge, right? So I don't think. I mean, maybe I don't know if it's talking about getting older being a hindrance, but I think it's actually a positive because you have more knowledge. You have better. I think. I mean, talk from personal perspective. I think I'm writing better music now than I did 10 years ago for sure. Because I've learned so much more. I've heard so much more. I've gotten not too much better because I don't practice enough, but I'm writing better music than I did back then.
Age only matters to marketing people when they
I guess so. I think in the pop scene, the pop artists, the looks matter, the sellability of a person's face matters.
Right, and your target demographic.
Yeah, exactly. So that you got to be that. I don't know the names too. It's Justin Bieber, Britney Spears.
Right. Once they're 26, they're off the
Yeah,
music.
Exactly. I don't really. I think there it matters, but I generally know, dude. Think of the music that you listen to yourself,
right,
or I listen to, or Arpit listens to for that matter. I think never it's never mattered what the person looks like or what clothes he wears or this thing. Is a very fancy posh guy or looks like a homeless guy. It doesn't matter. There's a two-part question, right? What was the second part of it?
Is it important to be relevant to the ongoing scene or trend?
No, because then you're just in a relevant. Again, relevance is a little bit more this thing, but dude, you can be as creative and as experimental as you want to be, dude. And sometimes, going back in time also is doing something new. And
as
just say for example, this band Greta Van Fleet. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Led Zeppelin rip-off band.
Okay.
I mean, again, I should not say rip-off band, but if you listen to them, you'd think it's Led Zeppelin playing in this era. Same production, same kind of sound. This thing, obviously, it's not Zeppelin by any means. But, that's something but it sounds fresh again because it's not been done for so long.
Right.
So they're doing the same old thing, same formula to the T, basically bringing it back and doing it well, I guess, for themselves. But it's something sounds fresh again. Sometimes, it's always best to be experimental and do your own thing.
But have you noticed that the audience now, they've kind of tuned their listening ears to a certain sound and a certain vibe? So,
but the thing is that also happens over a period of time, right? If you can, if you do what you like honestly and try and do the best at what you can, that will become a trend eventually, dude. How to transform, there's one, the trend creator or trend breaker, whatever you want to call them, trend setter. That person is the trendsetter and then people imitate.
Right.
So you can also be that, by doing something that you think, because otherwise you're just sheep, right?
Yeah.
So trends and all. I don't think trends have a place in music, dude, to be honest.
Pop music.
Pop is all. It is all trend. It is what is popular.
Right.
But even there's space for this thing, dude. This guy. I don't know. I don't hear too much, dude. To be honest, I hear it when I go out, and I was like, "Fuck, it's a really catchy bass line or a drum sound." Bruno Mars, I heard I think it was Bruno Mars. I don't know his music, to be honest. But that, and Daft Punk, for example, that's also pop at the end of it.
Awesome. So great. I think we are done.
Cool.
You got any closing words of advice for these?
I think all
beloved scene.
All gyan. I vomited.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Awesome.
We are done.
Yes. Good.
Yep.